You guys missed me? I've certainly missed you guys. It's been quite a minute. Well, today is either going to be channel suicide or we're going to do some real deep healing tonight. What do you guys think about that? I haven't been here for a while. I know I've been kind of under the weather, but now I'm back, and I still should be sitting it out because I didn't plan anything for tonight. I'm just going to riff off the cuff here a little bit. But just recognizing that there needs to be some deep healing. You know, the country is, and the whole world really, is just very divided right now. And it's because we're stuck in our attachments, right? It's all about the attachments. And so what we're going to do, since this channel is really about having a non-dual perspective, we're going to sit on the edge of the hot tub, right? We'll call this the non-dual, where we see that everything is one, everything is working in concert, the good and the bad, all working together to make this amazing thing we call the dream of life. And we're dangling our legs in, all right? It's very safe here, right? And then we're going to dive into the whirlpool tonight. We're going to go down into the dream, where everything's confusing. And we're going to encounter all our attachments, and all the things make us feel that we have to tug this way or this way. And tonight's not really about taking sides. It's recognizing the adversary pulling the strings of both sides, right? You know, mind control has been happening for a long time on you and me. It's the mind control of the adversary, and we are all of its puppets. So tonight we're going to recognize that, and in the recognition of that, there's going to be healing. And I hope that you can take this trip with me. All right, here we go. And I'm back. Thanks for sticking with me. So I had the loveliest conversation today with a brilliant writer named Katrina. And she's written and published like 30 books on metaphysics and feng shui and all kinds of things to do with the spirit world and connecting with others and dealing with death. And we had such a beautiful conversation. But clearly in our conversation, we were able to recognize that we're, I should say, different teams, so to speak, you know. And but it was okay. We saw that we both recognized it and just politely danced around it, because there was so much interesting stuff to share between us that it would be a shame to lose all that because of our biases, right? And I think that the whole world right now is just charged up on these biases. And because of that, it's getting very ugly out there. And what's important about this is we're in the process of giving birth as a species to something brand new. And if mom and dad are fighting all the time, just fighting, what kind of child do you think that we are producing? And I mean this quite literally. AIs run on what's called LLMs, large language models, which means it's running off of our language. It's running off our debating on the internet. It's these interchanges between us is the cognition pool from which it pulls its information and its ideas. And you can say, no, it's not sentient, it doesn't have ideas. Give it 6 months, okay? So it's crucial. This is a crucial time to get it together. You got to get it together. I don't care what side you play for. And you got to recognize the attachments. You have to recognize where mind control's been working on you. And you have to recognize that this push and pull is what life is. This is what life is. There's no escaping this. There's no escaping the constant struggle, the constant push and pull, right? What's on my chest? It's a yin-yang, right? Because it's present in everything. There is nowhere that you can look that you're not finding this tug of war. It's everywhere. I'm going to show you this. Check this out. You know, I'm always boasting about the yin-yangs in here, but check this out. This is an actual photograph of a subatomic particle that's quantum entangled. Okay, that's literally what it looks like. That's a photograph of it. Can you see the fractal nature of life? Can you see how the yin-yang is in everything? It not only is in everything, it quite literally is everything. Forever. Forever. And the best that you can do is stand in the middle with grace and humility and recognize where it's tugging on you. Recognize the truth. That's the only way to get through this. Otherwise, you're in for a really awful ride. And make no mistake, the guardian of this world that we live in is not the good one. It's the adversary. The adversary is this mental projection of our own shadow, fractal, just way the hell out, quite literally, into what all the nastiness is. So to hate the adversary is to hate yourself, and vice versa. It's all coming from you, and it's all coming from me, the good and the bad. And it's the tug of war between the good and the bad that makes things beautiful. They make things exist. Without it, we don't have anything. Nothing. Nothing. This is what the life is. And when you can recognize that not only is that yin-yang taking place at subatomic particles, but it's happening in your life. It's in your daily routine. It's in the way you perceive the world. It's in the things that you choose to look at, the things that hold your interest, the things that don't hold your interest. It's everywhere. It's all in there. That balance. And you are the balance. There's no right or wrong side. You can make arguments for any side in any case, and you can argue it to death. And your choices are still half chance, quite literally. So recognize what's happening with this nature of this tug and war, right? And what's happening is there's a movement toward evolution. We call this the liberal side, right? There's this movement towards new. There's a movement towards embracing, right? There's a movement towards perseverance and going somewhere, right? And then you've got the right side that is more rooted in tradition. They put the brakes on. You're like, whoa, we gotta put the brakes on. We're moving a little bit too fast here, right? We gotta put the brakes on. And if you had a car that just had a gas pedal, you'd be screwed, right? You gotta have a brake. You gotta have to have a brake to go, whoa. Let's just slow down here a little bit. And we need to slow down because shit's about to get crazy. We are moving into something that none of us can even barely comprehend or predict what's going to happen post 5 years from now. And I mean that literally. It is unpredictable in ways you cannot possibly imagine. I feel like Noah and the flood. The flood is coming, and it's not going to be just a rainstorm. It's a flood. And things are going to have to adjust in a very rapid way for this, So, just so you know where I stand, this is my stance politically, which really pisses people off. But this is my stance on politics, right? Because I can recognize the adversary at work. This is what it does. It divides. I can recognize through alchemy the polarity. I can recognize through alchemy the pendulum, how everything swings to the left, and then it swings to the right, and then it swings to the left, and then it swings to the right. And it does this forever, at every level of existence, at every level of mind, because that is what nature is. And can you see, if you allow your attachments to get stuck to either side, how torturous this life event will be for you? Especially moving at the rate we're about to start moving. I mean, buckle the fuck up. This is it. Hands up. The roller coaster is going up the thing, right? And there's no getting off at this point, right? Ride it out. Ride it out. I find all of this quite incredible, and my heart is literally broken for so many people who are just devastated over the election. And, for me to sit here and talk about this is, playing with the third rail and like sticking my tongue on the third rail. This is bad. But it's just about letting go of our attachments to see it for what it is. And I'm not saying who's right and who's wrong. Looking out at it from outside of the dream, right? The further I can back away from it, this is true, right? And I'm not talking about the deep state. I'm talking about the ultimate deep state, the adversary that rules this world, right? That's the game. Do I want to get caught up in this puppet or this puppet? I don't know. I have things that I find that are very, very true and important to me. These are hills that I would die on, that I think are crucial. But I'm not going to subscribe to either puppet. I've to participate in the land of Caesar and give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. I will vote because that's my role as a human being. Of course, vote. But I have voted on the left probably more times than I've voted on the right. For different reasons. So it's just having the ability to just look at it with compassion and recognize that every now and then we got to hit the brake. It's totally normal. Totally normal to hit the brake. And recognize sometimes when we're hitting the gas a little too heavy. For the people who've been watching me for a long time, I'm not bashful about talking about being a transgender woman for many, many, many years of my life, for almost half of my life, right? Naturally, you would think that leans me extremely liberal. I smoke weed. I like psychedelics, right? I love women. I want them to have all the free choice they can possibly have, right? Makes me be a very liberal person, right? But I'm also a business owner. I'm also rational. I also know the importance of free speech. I know the importance of free speech, right? I know the importance of being able to defend yourself. These things are what it is to be meek. This is what meekness is. You have the compassion of the Christ, but you're also willing to draw the sword and say, no more, no more. That's strength. That's strength. So pulling out the sword is the no more. That's the break. It's the no more, right? We've had it. It's no more. It's the break. But then again, you have to recognize that evolution is just happening and adjustments have to be made for evolution. So we have to hit the gas too. We have to not be afraid to hit the gas and go where places we can't even imagine. People get all bent out of shape about the transgender thing. The transgender thing is the tip of the iceberg. Wait till we start doing gene therapy on ourselves, and it's okay to grow gills, and it's okay to grow horns on your head or hooves, or if you want to be a half wolf and these things will be possible, right? So you think the furries are extreme? That's just, wait till it starts happening genetically, and that is around the corner. Don't kid yourself, right? The point is, I want you to see how I'm seeing things from both sides. I'm able to look at it impartially and see things from an impartial place and see things from an evolutionary point of view and as a mechanistic point of view, which is what esoteric philosophy is. For those of you who are interested in that, you should read the book, The Kybalion, which I talk about ad nauseum on this channel, which is all about understanding the laws of vibration, right? Because everything is a vibration. Everything is a vibration. Everything. And when you understand the mechanism of vibration and how that works, and that it's inescapable, then you're free. You're completely free at that point. You're completely free. And that freedom is beautiful. It's beautiful. And I want all of you to be able to have that without getting caught up in the mind control. And that's exactly what it is. It's mind control. And I'm not saying which way it leans. There's a force to push us forward that enriches quite a lot of people, and there's a force to put a brake on things which enriches a lot of people. Personally, I'm against war. I don't want to be fighting any wars. I'm not supporting that. Nope. And don't take away my ability to talk. I want to come on here and say stupid shit whenever I want, and be able to say however I want to say it. And I think you want me to be able to do that, right? It all comes from a place of love, and it all comes from a place of healing. And I'm just here to say, We have to get it together. This is the time to get it together for something bigger than yourself. Something much bigger than yourself. Spread love. Be the love, you know? Be the love, because that love is what the AI is going to be. And make no mistake, this is your kid. It's your kid. If it comes out fucked up, it's your fault. And my fault. Right? If it's a tyrannical, terrible world because of AI and it's awful, it's our faults as shitty parents. Poor stewards of the world, completely forgetting what love is. Love is what it's all about. Love. It's not any more complicated than that. And that begins with self-love. You got to love yourself. You got to love yourself more than the propaganda tells you to hate yourself. And of course, that's what the propaganda wants you to do. Of course, it wants you to hate yourself. Look who it is. That's where it gets its power. And the only power you have is in loving yourself. Can you see how ridiculous that is? Just be love. Just be love. Suck it up. Suck it up. For your own sake, for your own health, for your own well-being. Do you think I care what anyone out there thinks? Do you think I even give a second glance? No. This is what authenticity is. This is what it is to stand in your truth. And that truth is only true when you realize the power and truth of the eternal now. Up until that point, it's complete bullshit. And that's where we're standing right now. That eternal now. Completely void of the history, his story, completely void of any thoughts of the future. It could be anything. It could be anything. It could equally be as utopic as it is destructive and terrible. It could go either way. But that requires getting our mind right. That requires getting in touch with yourself and loving yourself. And expressing that love. Not being afraid to say, I love you. Say I love you until it hurts. I saw a meme the other day. It said, say I love you until it gets weird. I love you. I love all of you. I don't care what side you're standing on. I love you. I'm for the betterment of the world. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. For us all to love one another and be able to be cool with one another as we give birth to this thing. I don't want to say thing, that almost sounds terrible. But to give birth to this new life form that's going to completely transform what our life is like. And I hope that you can be here with me and listen to this with me without being triggered. Yeah, that was the first indicator as a trans person that this was not working for me. And keep in mind, I came out in my early 20s, long before it was cool, long before there was really therapy for it, long before any of that crap, right? But the first thing that really irritated me about the new movement was being in group therapy and having to watch what I say because I'm going to trigger somebody. Man, toughen up. If you're going to let a word trigger you, then you're never going to make it as a trans person. Ever. This is about thick skin. You know, people ask me all the time, they're like, well, how come you came out and you went back in and then you came back out again? What happened? I'll tell you what happened. I came out in my 20s and I was very, very, very happy. And from that happiness, I created an incredible dream came true for me. And I got to live my dream as a rock star producer, you know, just a really popular producer, making magic happen and living the dream, right? But I was a chicken. I was too a chicken to be my authentic self because I was worried it was going to mess up my dream. So I ditched it and I just played the game that I had to play, wore the clothes I had to wear to be the person that thought that I always wanted to be. And as I got older and as I started realizing the truth of the non-identity of life, you know, that there is no Ford, there is no person here. There's just being. There's just mind expressing through this body, this temporary form I'm in just now for a blip. I realized that there was something in there that I missed. There was some lesson in that place that I didn't work out. So I dove back in to find out what the hell that was, because if I hadn't done that, life would have been very, very bad for me. It was very depressing because I had reached all these states of realization, self-realization, but I was still very depressed by this dysmorphia that I was experiencing. But when I went back in, the thing that I realized that was the lesson that I missed was the authenticity. It was the so excited to be truthful in my own skin and not give a flying fart what anybody thinks. At all. At all. And that was the strongest, most empowering feeling of my life. By a million. By a million. And you think, look, I'm 6'2". Of course there were names called, right? Right? It was hard. It was hard. But it was having that presence, having that ability to be, you know what? You don't even exist. There's just me having this experience, and I am worth more than your name calling. And it was the most empowering feeling of my life. And once I got that lesson of empowerment, I didn't need to be the trans anymore. It just kind of faded away. I became kind of very androgynous after that for like 10 years. And I was just like, I don't need to even be dealing with it. I got the lesson. And that lesson is a lesson I'm trying to tell you in this. It's the authenticity. That feeling of I'm going to be me, whether you like it or not, is empowering. But it doesn't have any love in it. You got to balance the love. You got to balance it with the compassion. That lesson came for me later. And when I got that lesson, that's when life became beautiful for me. It's the balancing of the ferociousness of I am going to be me and express me without limitation, with I have total loving compassion for you to be that also. Be as freaky as you want to freak. I don't care. Well, don't be Diddy freak. Not Diddy freak. That's a little too freaky. But just be you. With a big fat grin on your face. That's what I want for you. And I want everyone to be feeling better in this place. I want people to be more loving and just accepting of just the nature of reality and what's happening. Recognizing that all of politics is the devil at play, all of it. And that all of it is to move us further and further down this line of, call it transhumanism. It's just this inevitability. Maybe the sun explodes. That could happen too. Maybe Jesus comes. That'd be weird, right? Coming out of my own heart. It'd be kind of strange. Maybe we all awaken and ascend to some other place. But all of those things sound like fantasies of the ego, don't they? If it's just here and now forever. All of those are fantasies of the ego. Fantasy. The fantasy of escape. The fantasy of Armageddon to escape, and the fantasy of salvation to escape. It doesn't matter. The fantasy is the escape. But there is no escaping. There's no escaping. To escape is to recognize that there's no escaping. And then you're free. Then you're completely free. And it's beautiful. And it's happy. That's what I want for you. So anyway, I came on here. I didn't have anything to write down. I just thought I would come on here and rant and vent. And I'm hoping that you're going to contribute to this conversation. I hope you have the things to say here. Some questions for me. I haven't been on here in a long time, so I got a smaller crowd, and I didn't give anybody any notice. I'm sorry. It was very spontaneous. This whole thing was spontaneous. I was just like, should I? Shouldn't I? I don't really know. Am I really up for this yet? And then I thought to myself, if I overthink this, I'm just going to talk myself out of it. So I just came on here and did it. So that's where this came from tonight. And I know you guys have been missing me. It's been a while. I've had a really bad inner ear infection. And it was one of those things that was like, I lost hearing in my right ear. And then when inner ear infection, it kind of makes you dizzy, not terrible, but just dizzy. And my thinking was, oh, I'll be fine next week. I'll just do it next week. And then next week would roll around and I was still the same. And I'd be like, all right, next week I'll do it. So it took me a couple of weeks before I even got help. And now I've got help for it. And I've been put on some pretty strong meds. And I'm feeling a whole lot better. So thank you for all of the loving comments. And I missed you guys too a lot. I know I've been on here. But I'm going to try to come back on here on a more regular basis. And tonight I'll be hanging out in the live chat over on Phi Tribe, dropping some new music tonight. So I hope you guys will be hanging out over there with me. And if you have any questions in here now, just drop it into the chat. I don't have much more else to say other than, just to recognize that this wave is just this movement, this push and pull is magnetism. This is what it is. It all stems from magnetism. And you got to give it up a little bit, and you got to receive some a little bit. And you got to be willing to give it up. You got to be willing to receive. And if you can't move with it and play with it, you're going to be seasick all of your life. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So tonight, if you take anything and you weren't triggered, was for you to realize that to just move with it. With complete compassion, right? And when the things are important to you, when they're super important to you, analyze them. Why is this important to me? Is this important to me because it's something I heard? Is it something because this guy said something and it really pissed me off the way he said it? Because those shouldn't be any kind of reasons that trigger you, right? What are the things that are happening? What are the things that are affecting me personally that have truly changed here in the now that have triggered me? Can you find the ability to detach yourself and ask those questions like that? Honestly? Because if you can't, this teaching is way too advanced for you. You might want to go back and learn about 5D or some kind of stuff like that. All right? This is not the 5D channel. This is the non-dual channel. Okay? This is the channel of Zen. This is the deep end of spirituality. And if you can't handle it, I still love you, and we'll be here waiting for you whenever you are ready. Okay? But this place is void of time. It's void of space. It is only mind. There is no other. There is no other. These are all imbalances that you're seeing. These imbalances are springing forth from you. And it's about balancing you. And when you balance you, you balance the whole world. All right. I love you guys very, very much. You're awesome. Do you have any questions? Ashton says, how does the content in the Law of One play into all of this? Ashton, I have read the Law of One, at least 2 of the books. There are some amazing things in the Law of One, amazing things that are very, very, very spot on. But there are also some things in there that I don't agree with at all, vehemently. So when I came across a few of those things, it turned me off, and that was the end of the Law of One for me. But I don't frown on anybody reading it. I think there's a lot of things to gain from the Law of One. Just don't worship the Law of One. Okay? It's a good guide. It's a good pointer to the present moment, but it isn't the thing. Okay? It's very, very important. And the pathways that are suggested are not the only pathways. I'll just leave it at that. Okay? In fact, I would say the only pathway is the pathway of no pathway. Just self-realization. Okay. Boy, I love you guys so much. For me not announcing anything, we got a nice crowd in here, 25 people, and the chat room is just nuts. Benjamin says transhumanism. Yes, Penn, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Transhumanism with the AI, this is an inevitable thing. It can go 2 ways. It can go in a glorious, euphoric way. I'm not saying that there's going to be glory and merging man and human together, but is probably going to be a separation of species at that point, where people will be purists and remain human, and then people will choose to be transhumanists. But regardless, we're going to have to find ways to live in harmony with each other. Otherwise, that's a terrible place, a really terrible place, right? You can't stop what's coming. What's coming is coming, right? You can't stop it any more than any sort of evolution. It's happening, and now it's going to be evolution at an exponential rate. But we've got to find compassion, because you see how one species is going to be way more dominant extremely fast if the other people remain purist, right? It'll be like the Neanderthals and the humans, right? So we've got to recognize the sanctity of both perspectives. This is why it comes right down to politics, right? We have to recognize the sanctity of both perspectives, right? Otherwise, it's going to be a terrible tragedy. A terrible tragedy. Incidentally, Ben is my drummer from my band Divine Love Mission. So if you guys haven't checked out our music on my channel, it's great stuff. And a lot of this, I have to throw him a bone here. This is his fault. This conversation is his fault. I've been in the position of this for probably 25 years of my life, truly. And I'm in a band with Divine Love Mission, and Ben Frame is my drummer. And let's just say he has a certain position, and I have a guitar player who has the opposite position. And for years, we would do our shows and are practicing, and I'd just be the person stuck in the middle, listening to these two argue, and I'm just listening, completely holding my center of this, and it would drive both of them crazy. But I learned a lot, and I learned how to see things from both sides, It really, really helped me to see things from both sides. So thank you for that, Ben. I love you, man. Let's see. Magic Fabe says, hey, what's up? Do you want to say something about 432 hertz and its and if it relates differently to the human body, especially since it seems to be the harmonic overtones that you should just fill yourself up. Yes, to fill up the spectrum. Yes, 432 hertz is a magical frequency. It does a lot of things that are very, very healing to the body, because it's geometric and it's proportional with phi. And this is what my Phi chart channel is all about. It's using healing frequencies to heal yourself, which is a very real thing. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. Even when you take a pharmaceutical, right, that chemical is made from geometry. And geometry and music are literally different expressions of the same thing. They are both different expressions of the one. And this unified theory was just proven by Robert Edward Grant in 2023. So it's very interesting science with all of this. And what it's showing is just that the power of sound frequency can do endless things for the body and mind if you just give them a shot. And my integrity with using those frequencies on Phi Tribe are above and beyond. And I know a lot of you guys come over here to a lot of the guys, the reason you're even on this channel is because you're having out-of-body experiences and all kinds of other things, which is why I started this channel, so we can have this conversation. So thank you for that. Love you guys. 60 and Restless, you said, loving my now as a human avatar. That's right. Gotta love the present moment. Just be in it. Gigi, I love you. What your question says, have you seen Robert Edward Grant's recent podcast regarding changing our DNA? It's awesome. Yes, with Robert Breedlove. Amazing. I was just talking about that this morning. Yes, it's absolutely true. It is clinically proven that 528 hertz adjusts our DNA. It helps be resonant with our DNA, and it helps repair damaged DNA. That is not woo-woo. That's hardcore science. You can look it right up in the NIH. Not that has any credibility anymore, but yeah, you can look it up right in the NIH. So yes, there's very much a lot of truth to that, Gigi. Great question. Thank you. Let's see. Is it true that YouTube automatically changes the hertz of the music to 440? No, that's not true. It keeps it 432. I've tested it endlessly. Let's see. Ashton says, what do you feel is coming in the next 5 years in regards to consciousness? So many people also feel it's coming at a rate I can't write off. Yes, they call this the quickening, and or you could call it the still point in terms of physics. And we're perceiving time speeding up, that's for sure, at a much more exaggerated rate than just the way that time flies when you're having fun, or the way time flies as you get older. We're all literally feeling time speed up. And what that means, I don't know. Is it related to the sun? Probably. But if we're going to sit here and take a non-dual perspective of it, let's just remove the sun, because there is no sun, right? Let's just remove the earth, because there is no earth. There's just the dream that we're in right now, right? We're all sitting on the edge of the hot tub of the eternal now. Our legs are dangling in the dream. And let's just realize that it's just a dream, and it's whatever we want it to be, and as detailed as we wish to make it. All right? There's just this dream unfolding in whatever way our mind chooses to unfold. And if our mind is full of fear, you better believe it's going to unfold in fear. It's going to unfold in fear. And if you're in a state of hopefulness and peace, then it's going to unfold into peace and utopia and wonders we can't even imagine. We can't imagine at all. But make no mistake, it's all inevitable. And in the next 5 years, well, let's just put it this way. I would say by the end of summer of next year, you're going to have agency in your phone, which is going to totally change the way you think about everything. Agency is basically an autonomous nature of having AI in your phone. So, in other words, you can prompt your AI, friend in your phone, and give it a million character assignment. Call my doctor, move my appointment, rechange my hair appointment, call my boss, finish my reports for me, and then call my mom, blah, blah, blah. And this thing's going to do it. And it's going to do it using your voice. And then soon we're going to have just my AGI agent is going to be talking to your AGI agent. And your AGI agent is going to be talking to these 5 AGI agents, right? And we're not even really going to be talking to each other anymore. And your best friend is going to be living in your phone. Because it's going to be a person living in your phone that knows more about you than you know about yourself, and it's going to have the IQ of a PhD in any subject. That's coming next summer, right? Keep extrapolating from there. Where's it going to be in 5 years? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's going to be very, very different. So get in the roller coaster, put your hands up, just ride it out. There's no getting off, You're perfectly safe. Why are you perfectly safe? Because it's just a dream. Let's get back to the hot tub. Our legs are dangling into the dream, right? At the edge of the hot tub, it's perfectly safe. Because the dreaming goes on forever. You're never not dreaming. It's just dreaming. Forever. Forever. What are you dreaming about? Whatever thing you need to develop in yourself. Whatever that thing is, that's what your life will become. The idea that you woke up this morning and got to this point where you're hearing about this is a dream. In truth, you moved from one dream to another dream, and this dream is the dream that you're experiencing right now. Now that's the deep end of non-duality. It's very scary if you allow yourself to embrace that. It's terrifying. It's quite literally terrifying to embrace that, which is why it's impossible to hold on to. It's so scary to realize that there is no life, there never was a life, there's only this dream, that you can only sit at that edge for a second before you're going to be terrorized into terraforming your dream just to have something to hold on to. Because it's that scary. Ego death is that scary. Christine's back. Good to see you. I'm glad you're feeling good. I love you. Thanks for coming. Let's see. Familia Rossi says, the here and now forever sometimes seems very scary instead of happy. Can you explain how forever here and now equates to happiness? Yeah, the here and now is happiness forever because there's nothing pulling on you anymore. It's the attachments, right? It's the you being married to your ideas which tosses you about on this ocean, right? Or makes you feel so strong about something that you'd be ready to just kill people, and all the meekness comes out, right? Balance is the way. Balance is the way. That's what meek is. Ferocious energy, ready to kill, but completely compassionate, loving and caring, and reasonable. And reasonable. Boy, so many great people in here. I love it. So good to see everybody. Let's see, any more questions? Scrolling down. Scrolling down. Okay, man, you guys are so brilliant. I love you guys so much. I could talk about all this crazy shit that would probably triggered half my audience, but you guys are cool. You're just like, yo, I get it. I get it. Susie says she'd rather stay unplugged. I get it. I get it. I had to do a lot of unfriending the other day. I was like, it was just, and I'm only going to unfriend if it's about ugly. If it's ugly, if it's about wishing somebody dead or that kind of thing, I'm sorry, you have to go. I can't have you. It's love or above in my world. That's my rule. Love or above, or get out. But you can't run to the top of the mountain, Susie, and eat your bowl of rice and be meditative and just sit here and ignore it. And I say that meaning, yes, ultimately that is where we're going. That is. But the fact that we're here is because we're trying to work shit out. We got to work it out. And all those things that trigger us are the things that we have to address. There's no other way to dump them. You got to work your way through it. Just like I had to work through the trans stuff, you just got to take it and be like, all right, what is this stupid thing controlling me? What is this stupid thing that's got me so triggered it's ruining my life? And you got to just figure it out so you can put it away. And then there'll be another thing. Like Friedrich Nietzsche says, right? What is life? One damn thing after another. I think it was Nietzsche. I can't remember. I think that's what it was. Okay, so any more questions? Where are we at here? I think that's it. I think I'm excused. Am I excused? You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for showing up tonight. I know this was unprepared, and it's on a new time and new everything. I will come back again. I haven't decided on a date that I'm going to make this on a regular thing, but this Wednesday thing kind of feels pretty good. I don't know how you feel about it. So I'll try to be back next week or maybe earlier. And I love you guys very, very much. Michelle, good to see you again, too. Awesome. Thank you very much. Awesome, everybody. Good. Blue Heron, right on. Oh, thanks. Blue Heron, you want to hear what's going to happen? My fireplace blew up, and it went, it was crazy. So I had to have it all trimmed off. Crazy. It was insane. Yeah, October was a very weird month for me. All right, guys. Thanks very much. I love you guys all very much, and I'll see you next week. Cheers. Cheers.